An ignorant person cannot progress himself, nor can he help others progress. That is why our elders also say that incomplete knowledge is never effective. Today's story also illustrates the distinction between knowledge and ignorance. This is the story of the great sage, saint, and revered Mahatma Buddha. Once, one of his disciples asked him a question, for which Mahatma Buddha devised a unique and extraordinary way to answer. Once Mahatma Buddha was sitting with his disciples at his camp. At times, he used to send some of his deserving disciples to ask for alms and to impart knowledge to people. One of his disciples approached him and said, "O Buddha, it has been more than 6 years since I have been with you. During these years, you have taught many disciples and sent them to impart knowledge to people. But for the past 6 years, I am still here. You have not yet sent me to impart knowledge to others. Have I not attained enlightenment yet? Has my pot of knowledge not yet filled enough to impart knowledge to others?" Hearing such a question from the disciple, Buddha smiled and said, "Son, whether you have attained enlightenment or not, no one can know better than you." Hearing this from Buddha, the disciple said, "O Buddha, whatever teachings you have given me in the past 6 years, I remember them all. Every single lesson and every single word you have told me, I remember. If you wish, you can ask me anything. I am confident that I can give you a direct, clear, and correct answer to each of your questions. Please give me a chance so that I can also go in a direction and impart knowledge to people." Hearing this from the disciple, Buddha lovingly said, "Son, remembering the teachings alone will not suffice until you bring them into practice. Until you bring something into your conduct, you cannot ask others to bring it into their conduct either." To this, the disciple said, "Whatever it is, Buddha, just give me one chance. Once, just once, trust me and see. I can influence people deeply with my knowledge. I can tell them such things of wisdom that all their questions will be resolved. Their lives will become simple, and they will begin to feel ultimate peace. This way, they can live their lives peacefully." There was a hint of overconfidence in the disciple's voice. So, explaining to his disciple for the last time, Buddha said, "Son, you are not fully ready yet. When you are fully ready, I will personally show you the right path and tell you to walk on it." The disciple now seemed a bit stubborn. He said in a louder voice, "Buddha, haven't you given me enough knowledge in these 6 years that I can influence people with it? Have the 6 years of my life gone to waste?" Seeing the disciple's obstinance, Buddha understood that explaining to him now was futile. So, he accepted the disciple's words and said, "All right, as you wish. Do one thing tomorrow morning. As soon as it dawns, head towards the east. There you will find a village. You can ask for alms there and help people with your knowledge and wisdom. Come back in the evening and tell me how you imparted knowledge to the people there and made their lives simpler." Hearing this from Mahatma Buddha, the disciple was very happy because this was what he wanted. He bowed to Buddha and left, thinking in his mind that as soon as he reaches that village in the morning, he will leave such an impression of his knowledge on the people that they will become his admirers. Somehow, the night passed, and the chirping of birds began to wake everyone up. The sun god, spreading his red hue, was telling everyone that it was morning. The disciple woke up as usual in the morning and got ready after taking a bath. He bowed to Buddha before leaving and headed towards the village in the east that Buddha had told him about the previous day. When he returned in the evening, Buddha saw that the disciple had many injuries on his forehead, and he was bleeding from several places. Buddha immediately tended to his wounds and then calmly asked, "Son, how did you get these injuries? Who did this to you?" The disciple looked at Buddha and said, "O Buddha, "What kind of village did you send me to? The people there are very wicked and lack any intelligence. I went there to ask for alms with great affection, but no one gave me any alms. Instead, people said very harsh words to me. One person gave me alms but threw it on the ground. I tried to explain to him that it was wrong, but he did not listen to me and, along with others, beat me up, causing me these injuries." Crying, he said, "O Buddha, please send me to a village where people have at least some intelligence. I will not go back to that village." Hearing this, Buddha looked at him and smiled, saying, "Son, if you find similar people in another village, what will you do then?" The disciple replied, "O Buddha, no one can impart knowledge to such violent and ignorant people. Who will explain to them? Their lives are worthless." To this, Buddha said, "Son, those people are not ignorant. They also have intelligence, but they have their own knowledge. Now, if you try to force your knowledge upon them, they will not accept it. If you were in their place, perhaps you would do the same, and such people are everywhere in the world. Now tell me, how will you impart your knowledge to such people?" But the disciple was still adamant that the lives of such people were indeed worthless. Lovingly, Buddha said, "Son, rest for today and come to me in the evening tomorrow." The disciple bowed to Buddha and left. The next evening, when the disciple returned to Buddha, there was another disciple with him. This other disciple also had injuries on his hands and legs. Buddha tended to his wounds as well and asked, "Son, how did you get these injuries?" The second disciple, dejected, replied, "O Buddha, these injuries were inflicted on me in the village you sent me to yesterday." Surprised, Buddha asked, "Son, tell me in detail what happened to you there." The disciple replied, "O Buddha, when I reached there, I politely and lovingly asked for alms from everyone, but no one gave me any alms. Yes, one kind person gave me alms, but he threw it on the ground and said, 'Pick it up if you want.' I quietly picked up the alms, placed them in my bowl, and blessed him for his generosity. Seeing this, the person was surprised and said, 'You are very strange. I insult you and you bless me.' I told him that he was a generous person and had given me alms, so I was blessing him. Then, as I moved forward, people hurled abuses at me and threw stones at me. I was about to leave when I saw a distressed woman whose child was very sick and crying. I couldn't bear to see her suffering, so I quickly went to the forest and brought some herbs to treat the child. But the people there didn't let me treat the child. Then I politely requested them to let me treat the child, promising to do as they say afterward. After some consideration, the villagers allowed me to treat the child. Once I applied the herbs, the child felt better. Seeing this, the people apologized for their rude behavior and I blessed them for their welfare before returning. The disciple said, "O Buddha, I have a request. Can I go there every day to ask for alms? The people there are very innocent." All this was being heard by Buddha's first disciple as well. He fell at Buddha's feet, crying, and said, "O Buddha, I realize my mistake. I now understand that I'm not yet capable of imparting knowledge to anyone." Buddha smiled and said, "Son, we see the world as we are within ourselves. Until we change ourselves from within, we cannot change others. It is essential to bring any teaching into our conduct first. When something is in our conduct, it becomes easier to explain and teach it to others. Therefore, always proceed with complete knowledge." Mahatma Buddha's teachings remind us that it is not enough to merely remember the lessons we receive. We must integrate them into our daily lives to truly impact others and ourselves. Remember, the world reflects what we hold within. To bring about change, we must first be the change. The journey of self-improvement and enlightenment is ongoing and requires patience, humility, and persistence. Thank you for joining us on this journey of wisdom and introspection. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspirational stories and teachings. Together, let's spread the light of knowledge and compassion. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, true wisdom shines from within.